Hello, I'm Toycat, and Mojang loves to add variation and customization to existing Minecraft items, which is why we see thousands of types of fish, armor, and decorated pots. But which item in Minecraft has the most variations to collect? This is an interesting question that doesn't have an easy answer on the internet, so we've crunched the numbers, we've put together the data, and this is the ultimate variant guide where I'll share together with you the answer to it. But first, I want to mention the fact that, yeah, we've gone through the ultimate guide for a lot of fundamental parts of Minecraft, and we'll continue to, but I figured we'd test something a little bit zanier today, so hopefully you enjoy it, because we're going to start with the tropical fish, the most interesting variant to a lot of people, because obviously pufferfish and cod have just one variant, salmon have three, but there are so many more for the tropical fish. This is because they come in lots of different colors, as you can see right here, these are the base ones, but also they then have patterns that can come in those same very colors, and it leads to so many variants, some of which are named after real life fish, you get a very small number of those, and then lots of which are basically pseudo-random. But it's not random, there is a fixed limited number, and that is 2,700 on Bedrock and 3,072 on Java. That is a mind-boggling number if you're looking to collect them, but it's actually very few if you compare it to the number of colored waters that you can collect instead. So colored water is a fun Bedrock exclusive, but you can do the exact same thing with armor if you're playing on Java. If you want to dye water, you can dye a cauldron with any of the 16 base colors. This means there are 16 full colors of cauldron water, you could say, except for the fact that you can dye it multiple times. So let's take a lime green cauldron and let's mix in a pink dye, and we'll get green pink as a color, which doesn't quite look like any of these because it's a mixture of two of them. And you can do this as many different times as you want. We can take some extra green and add it in there, and so it's not quite lime green, but it's not quite lime pink, it's lime pink, which leads to all sorts of color variations. It would be an infinite number were this real life, where colors kind of blend infinitely, but in Minecraft, the RBG color space has a limit of 16,777,216 possibilities, meaning if you have dyed water in your world, you'd need to collect 16 million cauldrons and well over 100 million iron to do that, and you could choose to do it, but it would probably look just a little bit weird, whereas fireworks are much better for celebrating, but there can't be that many variations, right? I mean, sure, there's gunpowder, and there's dye, and diamonds, and gold nuggets and glowstone dust that can go in there, but how many different things can this really make? Well, first things first, let me give you a fun fact about Bedrock. If you use the auto crafting, even if you turn on craftable, you'll never see fireworks star as a recipe. Instead, you need to add gunpowder, any dye, we'll use red for the sake of this, and any one of those items to start adding the fun effects. This is the trail if you're curious for this. You can make it without it if you wanted to, but if you add these, you get lots of different variants of items. So this fireworks star has 4 effects, now we could give it 5 effects, and you can do this kind of endlessly. This is fun because it means that fireworks stars have so many variations, because they come in all of the colors with all of those variations, but it means there are 29.6 quintillion fireworks stars. So the millions would be over here. No, the millions are over there, 331 million, but then there's billions of those, trillions of those, and quintillions of those. We are literally talking about millions of variations multiple times over, and that's kind of nutty, but we're just talking about firework stars. What about fireworks? Well, if we understand the firework recipe as being gunpowder and paper, you can actually use up to 3 gunpowder, and this is what people will do in their long-term survivor worlds, just to fly around with an elytra, because you don't usually want to explode on yourself, but you can then use 0 to 7 firework stars, meaning that we get 621 quintillion possible fireworks that can be made. This is extra fun if we show you what these look like, because using 7 firework stars is just ludicrous if you actually put it onto something. I'm going to show you right here by throwing some of these items away, and then putting out a crossbow, where I'll then put the firework in my offhand. I can now fire these firework arrows at anything I like, and it's absolutely silly when I do so. As you can see, they make multiple explosions. It's a color nightmare, and what's fun about this is you don't need the crossbow. It is kind of fun, but we could also just launch these by the dozen and waste so many diamonds on such a great party, but maybe that's the point of the feature. So can we beat, again, just to look at this number again, can we beat 621 quintillion? Well, yes. Think about the number of armor trims there are in Minecraft. I mean, if there's 18 different armor trims that are found in different parts of the game, and then there's 11 different ways that you can trim them, now that we have resin, our good friend, that is basically an ingot, how many combinations is that? Well, you get the massive number of 198 Just 198, actually. That's the number of ways that you can trim a single piece of armor, which means that actually there aren't that many armor trim variations, but there's a lot of armor variations because these are the different types of armor. Leather, chain, iron, gold, diamond, netherite, and of course turtle if you're getting a little bit fun with it. So this gives us these many different pieces of armor, and if you take each of the pieces of armor and be honest with the fact that, well, leather actually dies 16 million times, and also even the other pieces of armor, you could technically have all of these different enchantments on, making them unique. There are lots of unique enchantments. If you take these enchantments, mix it with these colors, mix it with these trims, mix it with these colors, and then mix it with all of the variants, the number of different ways that you can wear armor in Minecraft is 10 to the power of 30. Or, to put it more precisely, 2.99 nonillion. You get to the numbers that look like you're playing Cookie Clicker at this point, but that's how many different ways that you can wear armor in Minecraft. Do you want to wear it this way, or this way, or this way, or do you want to take this chest plate, or I guess this chest plate, the game has decided for me, with these leggings, with these boots, and let's go for a turtle helmet just to be fun. If you wear this set of armor, odds are it's never been worn before because there are substantially fewer than 2 nonillion people on the planet Earth. In fact, substantially fewer than that play Minecraft too. But yeah, if you put a unique set of trims with unique colors on a unique set of armor, you're probably the first person to ever do it. In fact, not just probably, statistically speaking, it's a near guarantee. Speaking of near guarantees, if we do the same logic to armor and weapons, you'll see that you get a lot of variants of, say, the sword. The sword has all of these different materials and enchantments, and so the number of possibilities is 55,000. And can I ask you how many there are for this item? The answer is 184,000. It's a very silly large number. Which item has the most variants is a fun game you can ask for yourself. I'm going to go ahead and guess that it's probably the pickaxe. Or no, the mace seems pretty likely. The mace has so many... No, it's only 3,840, because there's only one tier of it, I guess. So, yeah, having a lot of material variations brings you higher, but the pickaxe... Oh, just 2880? I guess it doesn't have that many enchantments, huh? Whereas the shovel has 2880 as well, the hoe 2880, and so the axe is actually probably the most varianted item. In fact, yeah, I think it is, because the bow is sitting here at a lowly 864. If you have a bow in Minecraft, no matter what a weird, quirky set of enchantments you have, someone has definitely made it before, which is sad if you ask me. Speaking of sad things, let's move on to banners. This is the big coup de grace for, like, yeah, we know, wait, coup de grace, coup d'etat. This is the most interesting one for how many variants you can get, because obviously banners come in 16 colors, and they take up to, also there's the one weird pillager outpost one, but they take up to 6 different trims, which can be made from 10 separate patterns, or 16 different patterns, alongside the fact that you can use each of the colors, alongside the fact that you can use non-patterns as well. What does that result in? 89 quintillion banner variants, which is a great big number. It's larger than the number of fireworks, don't get me wrong, but actual firework rockets, but like actually, it's kind of disappointing if we look at this number compared to where we just were. So what has more variants than armor? The truth is, you're kind of pushing the definition of item when you say that this is a set of armor, because it's lots of individual sets of armor, which aren't necessarily that rare. And so, how many, different variants of something are there in the game? Well, let's give you the big answer after I give you a couple of, like, non-spoilers, because what is the most varianted thing in Minecraft is not answered by decorated pots. There's 331,000 ways you can put these together. It's not answered by pigs, chickens, or cows, because there are going to be free cows and free pigs and free chickens, and although there are 5 variants of the rabbit, so that's the most for a land-based mob outside of the horse, really, even, actually, you know. There's a lot of variants that you can find for each of these mobs. The thing, and also, there's 19 different music disc variants, so if they keep adding... Maybe if we start adding AI music to Minecraft, we could get to 79 quintillion. Please, Mojang, don't do that. But, although actually, if you make note block songs, you could start to get close. But the thing that actually has the most variants in Minecraft is worlds. If you think that your armor is special and unique and no one's made something like it, consider it's probably more true for worlds. In both Minecraft versions, there are 18 quintillion seeds. Here's the number, as always. And if we take into account the number of possible worlds that can exist, then on Bedrock, there is an infinite number of possible worlds. The reason behind that is that every Bedrock world is infinite, and so if you start from 18 quintillion starting points, and you have infinite variations, you get to an infinite number of ways to do it. However, the Java version of the game has the same 18 quintillion seeds, but their world is 60 million by 60 million, and so the number of possible Minecraft worlds, that is to say, every single position in the world can have one of these 400 blocks. Every single position in the world can have that, and there are over 60 million by 60 million positions. The exact number would be so big that you couldn't write it in a book and quill, but the number would be 1 followed by 2 sextillion zeros. That is to say, this number, this number of sextillion, then is the number of digits in this number. So if you can't picture a sextillion, I know I can't, can you picture a number with that many zeros? Because that's how many variations there are for a Java world, whereas on Bedrock, it's technically infinite. And so what is the most varianted thing in Minecraft? Your world. If you've built a world in Minecraft, even if you've only moved around a few hundred blocks, the odds are no one has ever made a world just like yours. And if you ever feel like you need to compare your world to other people's, the truth is your world is special and unique, just like everyone else's is. And that should be your important reminder to keep on playing, because every world is special and unique in its own wonderful way. And yeah, if you enjoy making your world, then make sure that you continue to play, because that's what I do in my world, and I hope it's what you'll continue to do in yours, because you can make a world that is unique in an ugly way, unique in a terrible way, unique in a great way, or you can make it unique by making it literally the strangest thing alive, because your world is art, and it represents one of the 10 to the power of 2.306 times 10 to the power of 24 different possibilities that are out there, and I think that's beautiful, and I think you should too. Anyway, I hope you've all enjoyed this episode of The Ultimate Guide. If you want to learn about more fundamental parts of the game, check out the playlist down below. I feel like a lot of people getting back into Minecraft are finding that especially useful, so if you are someone who knows a lot about Minecraft but maybe want a bit of a refresher, check out the series. You won't regret it. But for now, I hope you've all enjoyed. I've been IBX Toycat, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Hope I was recording.